All right, guys. So we've got more Israel disaster updates for you guys. They're coming in so quick, so I got to do these weekend updates. Happy Labor Day, everybody. We don't have a show today, but we're gonna have one tomorrow, as usual, at 6 o'clock Eastern. We do the show 2 hours a day, of course, as you know. Okay, so genocide has been declared. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Uh, and Israel has rejected its own peace deal, and they're throwing up roadblocks everywhere you can find them. Everyone in the world is frustrated, and now they have a new devious plan, and this plan is to annex the West Bank. So I'm going to tell you about all of that, and obviously we'll have follow-ups every night. Monday through Friday normally. 6 to 8 o'clock Eastern is when the show is. Adele Q, thank you for joining, brother. Appreciate it, and you guys allow us to do the show. All right, so let me get to the updates. So yesterday, Axios reported um, that Israel had originally asked for a graduated peace deal, ceasefire that was going to go in stages, and Hamas had hesitated greatly over that and didn't want to do it because they wanted one swoop deal and for Israel to get out of Gaza, right? But finally Hamas crumbled and said, all right, we'll just take Netanyahu's offer, period, right? And Netanyahu said, oh, damn it. That was made to be unreasonable, so you wouldn't take it. So now that they did take it, he's like, okay, forget it. It's withdrawn. Now I want the peace deal all in one swoop. Okay, yeah, look, guys, there's only the lunatic Israeli supporters left, and some of them are lunatics, some of them are malicious and are enjoying this, and a lot of them are just blind. Most of them are just blind. They think, oh my God, poor little Israel. Oh, the Palestinians are oppressing us so much. We've only murdered 63,000 of them, and they have stones left. Why do they have stones left? I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. Just kill them more. Kill them more, which is the next part of the story. So, and then one after that as well. So, anyway, so Israel definitively against peace. They are the ones blocking all roads to peace. Even when Hamas takes their exact offer, they say no because they've never wanted peace. First of all, in this conflict, and honestly, since 1948. They've been trying to expand and expand and expand and expand. That's all they ever do. And they always claim, oh, self-defense. And now it's obvious nonsense, obvious junk. You should ignore everything the Israeli government says. They haven't been right once yet in the last 2 years. It's a slaughter fest in Gaza. They're now moving into Gaza City, let alone what they're about to do in the West Bank. Again, I'll get to that in a little bit. So now there's no hope for peace at all because Israel's basically saying we won't take any deal. Okay. So, I mean, they're saying the only thing we'll take is give us all of our hostages back. Hamas, all of you, wherever you are, whoever you are, all of you, which is impossible to determine, right? Come out and let us kill you. And if you do that, then we have a deal. Okay. All right. So, for the billionth time in a row, obviously Israel doesn't want peace. Obviously, Israel is the aggressor. Obviously, it has nothing to do with self-defense for an attack that happened 2 years ago. It has everything to do with land acquisition, which brings us to the West Bank. Then I'll get to how genocide scholars have determined definitively that this is a genocide. There's almost no dispute left anymore. The only yappers are like Israeli bots and trolls. You're all anti-Semites. We're the real victims here. We haven't murdered enough Palestinians. We haven't taken enough of our neighbors' land. It's all self-defense. By the way, if you're an Israeli supporter, that's how the rest of us see you. And it's not just me. And you could have your tiny little bubble of other Israeli supporters. Oh, aren't all the Muslims savages? Aren't all the Muslims just? Shouldn't we kill all the Muslims? Oh, we're so right. We're the victims. We're the victims. Oh, we are under an existential threat. No, you're not. So the rest of us see you as I am describing it. You not only do you look evil for doing a genocide, and now it is definitively a genocide, and starvation, mass punishment, collective punishment, ethnic cleansing. Not only do you look like you're one of the most evil countries in the world, and that is not at all disputable anymore, okay? But on top of that, you look ridiculous. You look like you're all just escaped a mental asylum. Oh, we're the victims, right? Well, they killed 1,200 of ours, and we killed 63,000, and it's not enough. And we killed 20,000 children, and it's not enough. And we took southern Lebanon, and we took western Syria, and we took 75% of Gaza. Now we're going to take 60% of West Bank, and it's not enough. But wait, what does taking land have to do with self-defense? I don't care. You're all anti-Semites. No, brother. No, if there's one group that's hateful, discriminatory, and racist, it is definitely the Israeli government that is saying we will never allow Palestine because they're among the most racist governments in the whole world. And again, not disputable. Which other government is saying? Maybe the Chinese government regarding Tibet and the Uyghur people, etc. And you could probably name 2 or 3 others. But you're in a handful of the most evil governments that say we are occupying a different people, 5.5 million Palestinians, and we are never going to give them freedom. We think they are inferior to us. We will never accept peace with them. And they all voted on saying that there'll never be a Palestine. Israel already voted on that. Their cabinet did, and their Knesset did. And every group that voted that represented Israeli Jews, unanimous, we will never allow a Palestine. So what are you supposed to do with a out of control, rogue, dictatorial government that says, I will oppress these people for the rest of time. I will steal their land for so-called Judea and Samaria. And I'm the bully, and I have nukes, and I have a bigger military than the rest of the Middle East. And there's nothing you could do about it. So what does that lead to? Now they're going to take the West Bank. So another report out just today, they're having a conversation about how much of the West Bank should they annex. Should they take 10% for now, 30% for now, or 60% for now? Okay, I say for now because they plan to take the whole thing. That's the whole point of Judea and Samaria. Netanyahu has said on the record that he is in favor of a greater Israel. He's on a mission for a greater Israel. They plan to take Judea and Samaria. So where's the question? They already told you they're going to steal the West Bank and they're going to steal Gaza. And right now they're in the middle of doing both. They have 75% of Gaza. And now they're going into Gaza City to get 100%. And they're going to move 1 million people out there, and they're going to butcher people. They're going to continue to starve people. They're going to continue this disgusting genocide. They're going to continue to make America pay for it. And they're going to say, you owe us. Even though we're one of the most evil governments, and the entire genocide scholar community has decided overwhelmingly that we're in the middle of a genocide now. We're going to make America pay for it. Okay, that's literally what Israel's doing right now. And they say on top, by the way, we're going to ignore all international law. We're going to continue to do more war crimes in the West Bank that has nothing to do with Hamas. It has everything to do with the same exact goal they have in Gaza and Lebanon and Syria and all across the Middle East. Land acquisition for greater Israel. But now, again, everyone knows that one. Everyone knows except, which is ironic because the Israeli supporters, they also know that. They're like, yeah, but of course, God gave it to us. We are chosen people. Chosen people take all your land for self-defense. Okay, so I don't believe in any religion telling me that they're chosen people. I don't care which religion it is and how great you think your religion is. I'm not interested in it, man. All that does is lead to endless wars. So, okay, I mean, again, if you think your religion is the one chosen one and God told you to murder everyone else and take their land, you're a lunatic. You're a literal psychopath. But they don't know that. The only other people that don't realize that this is about stealing Palestinian and Arab land are the boomers in America that watch television. They're like, what? Like, and it's not their fault at all. Like, we get people telling us, oh, my parents said they never even heard of any of the things that we talk about on the Young Turks. All the facts about Israel, they had no idea that, like, and this is probably this fact is probably true for a great majority of Americans, because American media never ever tells you the Palestinian side. They're always talking about, oh, Israel's right to self-defense, right? Israel. Okay, no, Hamas, terrible on October 7th, 67% civilian kill ratio. That's why they're called terrorists. 67% of the people they killed were civilians. So far, Israel, at a much grander scale, they have now killed well over 60 times the people Hamas did. 60 October 7th, and their civilian kill ratio is way worse, 83%, according to the IDF's internal numbers as leaked to the Israeli press. They're more percentage-wise, they are bigger terrorists than Hamas, And then as a number of raw numbers, it's not even close. They're 60 times the terrorist Hamas is. So these are actual facts. There's no way to dispute them. But if you say that on TV, oh, you got to get them off TV. You can't say that about Israel. You can't call them terrorists. But wait, their civilian kill ratio is worse. They've done 60 October 7th. They've killed over 20,000 children. Where's the question? I know, but shut up. Shut up. Don't let him go on TV. Don't let anyone on TV say that. How come one news anchor hasn't said it? I mean, come on. Okay, so let's go to the genocide part, as they now are trying to take the West Bank as well. BO, thank you, brother, for writing in on the super chat and for saying the nice thing about, I don't know if I have leadership. All I know is I'm mad. I love the people of Palestine. ShopTYT.com. All of the proceeds, 100% of the profits, goes to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. We'll have hopefully some links, etc., down below. But why am I wearing a Palestinian flag in America? I got, we have the shirt with the America loves Palestine. This just to say, hey, you know what? I'm not like our scumbag politicians. We didn't get bribed. Us American citizens, we didn't get bribed or blackmailed into supporting a genocidal government. Okay, we're for the victims. We're for the victims of the grotesque injustice that Israel's committing now. So let's get to that. So the International Association of Genocide Scholars has weighed in today, and they say, quote, Israel's policies and actions in Gaza meet the legal definition of genocide, period. Out of their 500-member association, the vote was not close. It was overwhelming. 86% saying, obviously genocide. What else do you need? I'm going to give you some of their quotes in a second. They said it's a genocide according to the 1948 United Nations Convention for the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, that it meets all legal definitions of it. So here are the details. Before I give you the details, of course, you're going to be shocked to find out what Israel said. Israel said, oh, I can't believe it. We're the actual victims. All of the scholars are wrong. Hamas, 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 Hamas. Oh, the scholars are wrong. We, Israel, have a special exemption to genocide. You're not allowed to say it. Every genocide scholar, including all the Jewish ones, are all anti-Semites. And how dare you? You have to blame the Palestinians for getting murdered by us. We're not at fault for murdering them and starving them and mass punishment. No, they're guilty. They're guilty for getting murdered by us. And I mean, they didn't let us steal their land as efficiently as we would have liked. So of course, they have this nonsense, drivel denial that it's not worth reading, because almost, like I said, everything the Israeli government has said in this conflict has been a lie. All right. I'm going to try to read the super chats as we go. I got important quote from the scholars on genocide in a second, but dating app doctor or something wrote in, sorry, it's halfway cut off. U.S. hypocrisy is blatant. After Hamas spokesperson and Yemen wrong leader was killed over the weekend, they still shield Netanyahu's crimes while charging Putin make America as a global laughingstock in ICC. Look, first of all, again, these are why we do the shirts like this, because don't blame the American people. It's the American government. Donald Trump got bribed by the Adelson family to the tune of $337 million. Believe it or not, that is a legal bribe in America. Isn't that unbelievable? And then the morons in mainstream media go, no, I don't see it. No, I don't think that that's a bribe. No, I think that they just happened to agree on Israel, and the Adelsons wanted him to move our, embassy in Israel in his first term, and he did it. And they said they wanted him to move it, and that's why they gave him the money. And he said he moved it because they gave him the money. But we're not going to tell you that. We're going to pretend that that's an anti-Semitic thing to say, even though they have said it. They admit it. And now the Israeli press reporting that Miriam Adelson, when she gave the last installment of the $137 million to his campaign, said, now I want you to allow Israel to annex the West Bank, which at the time sounded preposterous. Well, here we are with the breaking news I told you earlier, that Israel is beginning plans to annex the West Bank. So this is how bribery works in America. So the American politicians overnight, like literally 90% of them are bribed by the Israeli lobby. So again, it's legalized bribes that go to their campaigns. That's how they get power. And the way they keep power is to kiss Israel's ass. So the American government is filled with people who work for the government of Israel. And so again, it's a stone cold fact, but mainstream media reporters will say, oh, no. That's anti-Semitic to mention facts. Facts have a well-known anti-Semitic bias. Okay. Because no, but wait, is it true that 90% of Congress has gotten money from the is lobbies supporting Israel? Yes, that is true. But stating things that are true is anti-Semitic, according to Israel, and that's why the American press will be dogs of Israel and will repeat that propaganda. So you stop pointing out that the Israeli lobby has bought 90% of Congress. We're trying to shut you up by smearing you and calling you hateful and racist to protect the racist genocide of Israel, and we call ourselves objective news reporters in mainstream media. There's no such thing. Almost all of them are propagandists for Israel. Okay, so yes, 90% of our Congress has received money from the Israeli lobby. And why did the Israeli lobby give them that money? So that they would work for Israel and they would do whatever Israel commanded of them. Now, have those 90% done everything Israel has commanded of them? Yes, they have given them infinite amount of money, including 20 billion in the middle of the genocide. They haven't checked them at all, and all they do is a congressional investigation on whether Israeli supporters' feelings have been hurt. How about the 20,000 dead Palestinian kids? Shut up. No one cares about Palestinian kids. They're inferior to us. Now, back to the racism that we are pretending exists against Israeli supporters in America. You're all arrested, and you can't do any boycotts. Arrested, deported, denaturalized, because you have hurt our feelings. How about the 20,000 dead kids? Shut up. No one cares about them. Okay, so you're the racist. And anyone who's supporting that, not just Israel's position, Israel itself, but if you're a mainstream media reporter telling me that the feelings of Israeli supporters are more important than 20,000 dead Palestinian children, you're an obvious racist. You think those children's lives mean nothing at all because they're Palestinian, they're Arabs, they're Muslims, they're nothing to you, right? But why don't you be honest for the first time in your life? Any cable news anchor out there. By the way, look at the cowards on MSNBC. Okay, I know the cowards of CNN and obviously Fox News is totally in the tank for Israel. Even the right wing knows that Fox News is in the tank for Israel. Oh, Israel's the greatest. You have to send them more money. Send them more American taxpayer money. Hey, Rupert Murdoch, why don't you send them your money? You have an infinite amount of money. You send them. Why are you robbing the taxpayers of America to help a genocidal government? Why, if you love genocide so much, why don't you fund it? These people are all sick. But how about MSNBC? Oh, Profiles in Courage over there. A couple of guys on the weekends, a couple of their Muslim anchors said, like, oh, Israel's doing something bad. And good for them. I love that. God bless it. A tiny bit of truth broke out for a second. Any of the major anchors? Any of the primetime anchors talking about furious about this genocide? Nothing. Oh, no, beloved Israel. They don't want to get fired. Okay. So show me otherwise. Prove me wrong. Okay. So, all right. So they point out 63,000 dead already in Gaza, and 20,000 kids dead. And Melanie O'Brien, the organization's president and a professor of international law at the University of Western Australia, said people who are experts in the study of genocide can see the situation for what it is because they study this and it meets all of the hallmarks of a genocide. They said the resolution, quote, places here we go. The resolution holds that Israel is carrying out, quote, deliberate attacks against and killing of civilians, including children, starvation, deprivation of humanitarian aid, water, fuel, and other items essential to the survival of the population. Hold on, they're not done yet. This one is interesting. Sexual and reproductive violence and forced displacement of the population. Okay. So all of this stuff they say, oh my God, Hamas, they did sexual violence. By the way, that's now in significant dispute. Go check out the reports. I believe Dropsite News has really interesting developments on that. But go check for yourself exactly what the reporters are saying about that issue. And I've called Hamas terrorists 1,000 times. I don't care. I'm not trying. No one's trying to support Hamas. Anyone who says that is an obvious Israeli propagandist. Oh, we're trying to save Palestinian kids' lives. Oh, so you love Hamas? So you're a terrorist? So you loved October 7th? No one said that. You just make that stuff up. Some of you actually believe it in your paranoid delusions. Everyone who's criticizing Israel is all Hamas. They're going to kill us all. We're so tiny, small, little victims. No. the world's genocide scholars in mass just said, you're the bad guys. Israel is doing mass starvation of children. And yes, it turns out Israel's doing sexual violence. And we reported on this on the Young Turks for you. But did you see it in mainstream media? The Israeli guards raping the Palestinian detainees? Did the mainstream media tell you that the Israelis arrest thousands of Palestinians without ever giving a reason why? They hold them sometimes for years and years and then release them because they never had a reason. They never brought them to court. They never had any charges. No, like, oh, the Israeli hostages, there's 20 left. That's terrible. I want them back. And you should have sympathy for them. So we're all agreed on that front. Now you turn to the Palestinian hostages, which Israel takes thousands and thousands of Palestinian hostages all the time. And never charges them with anything, never follows the law at all. Is there any talk of Palestinian hostages? Nothing, because Palestinian lives are expendable, because American media is deeply racist and American politicians are deeply corrupt. So they're all going to working for the genocidal, now officially the genocidal government of Israel. But again, last thing, guys. On cable news, you might see today a passing mention of this, and a genocide scholars declared it a genocide. No. Okay, and hey, we reported it. We're out of here. Okay, it'll last 2 to 5 minutes. That's it. And tomorrow they'll all have collective amnesia over it. None of the anchors will call it a genocide, and if any of the anchors do call it a genocide, Israel will lose their crap over it. And then they'll throw feces against the wall and they'll demand that anchor be fired. And how dare they agree with all the genocide scholars? Don't they know they have to bow down to Israel? Wait, it sounds like you're saying they have to follow Israel's orders if they're in American media. That's anti-Semitic. But I didn't say it, brother. I don't think they should follow Israel's orders. And I don't think it makes any sense. And I don't think they have to, right? I'm asking them not to because I don't think that there is a boogeyman out there. I don't think there is a conspiracy out there. Okay, but you, on the other hand, go, they better not, otherwise I'll get them fired. Wait, you sound like you're arguing in favor of this trope. I'm arguing against the trope. You're arguing, you better not cross Israel, we'll have you fired. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. You're saying you're almost cheerleading for that trope. So, okay, anybody can say anything they want. You could at least quote the genocide scholars. Every cable news anchor, every New York Times reporter, every Washington Post reporter going forward should obviously call it a genocide. Will they? Of course not. Of course not, because you have to make a special exception for Israel on everything. All other nations have one set of laws, and there's only one other set of laws just for Israel. Okay, so now they're like, oh, how dare you, UK and France and the rest of Europe recognize Palestine like 150 other countries have. No, there are permanent slaves. They're never allowed to be free. And if you're objecting to that, so are they allowed to be free, according to the government of Israel? No, the Knesset voted overwhelmingly. The Palestinians will never be free. They will never have an independent state of their own. That those 5.5 million people are, in essence, you can put different words to them: hostages, prisoners, slaves. But they certainly live under the dictatorship of Israel in the occupied territories. There's no question that it's not a democracy. They don't control their own land. It is an occupation. Israel, as you can see in Gaza, can level the place anytime they want. They can even starve the population if they want. They can deny them medical aid. That is a dictatorship. So Israel has a democracy inside their borders, and they have a dictatorship outside their borders. And they say, we should be the only country allowed to have one. Because if we're not allowed to have one, then the rest of the world are all anti-Semites for not giving us special exemptions. And by the way, we should be allowed to do a genocide. We should be allowed to do ethnic cleansing. And if anyone criticizes us, we should have them fired for being hateful against Jews. Nobody said anything about Jews except the Israelis. The Israelis are constantly like, we're the Jewish state, Jewish state, Jewish state. You can't criticize us because we're Jewish, Jewish, Jewish. But brother, you're bringing, again, what are you bringing the trope into this for? Nobody said anything about Jews. We're just talking about a government. The Saudi government sucks. The Israeli government sucks. A lot of governments suck. The Chinese government, what they were doing, the Uyghurs, etc. But the Israelis go, no, all those other governments suck. You are never allowed to say we suck. Otherwise, you should be fired and arrested and deported. Okay, no. No one wants to listen to Israel anymore. No one. We're all sick of you. And we're sick of your genocide. We're sick of your ethnic cleansing. We're sick of your excuses. Oh, poor us. We're the victims. No one believes you're the victims at all anymore. Were Jewish people victims throughout history? Yes. Does Israel represent all Jews in the world? No. You can Saudi Arabia calls themselves a Muslim state. That doesn't mean they represent all Muslims. Israel can call themselves whatever the hell they like. They can call themselves a Buddhist state. Doesn't mean they represent all Buddhists. They're a government, right? So this government has been hiding behind Jewish civilians all across the world the whole time. You criticize us, that means you hate all Jews. But no one other than the Israelis said that. So it's all a pack of lies to back up that awful government that is saying, America and the rest of Europe, you better not defy us. Like Netanyahu's furious at Europe for threatening to defy him. I was on British TV today. He's like, that's it. We're going to take the entire West Bank if you defy. Who are you for you to say that the United Kingdom can't defy you? France can't defy you? When did Israel become the boss of all of us? Because we're not saying you're the boss of all of us. We don't want you to be the boss of all of us. We don't want any conspiracy theory. We don't want any trope. We want you to be treated like a normal government, not any worse, not any better. And you say, no, I demand to be treated better than every government. And I demand that you listen to me. Who are you? Why should we listen to you? You have no moral authority at all. You don't represent Jewish people. And in this case, the Israeli government has been atrocious. They have not been one of the best countries. They have been one of the very, very worst countries. And now the collective genocide scholars of the world say, yes, it is one of the most despicable genocides of our lifetimes. It's right up there with what happened in Myanmar to the Rohingya and some of the worst genocides of our lifetimes. Oh, and what happened to what's currently happening to the Uyghurs in China. And by the way, I interviewed someone from the Uyghur government in exile. You should check that out on The Conversation. That's another channel we have on YouTube. Spooky Zen, thank you so much for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. And Dating App, etc., wrote back in saying it's not America itself, but the leadership in Washington, D.C. That feels discouraging. You're absolutely right, brother. And I appreciate you writing in. I appreciate you doing super chat. Everybody wear the flag. Wear the American flag. We love America, okay? But also wear the Palestinian flag to show, no, we don't agree with our leaders. We're trying to help those poor Palestinians who are being brutalized and ethnically cleansed and starved and genocided right now. We don't want our money going to that. The only people who believe that we owe Israel, even in the middle of a genocide, then it's our job to fund their genocide. The only people in the country who believe that are in Washington and New York. So the media center and the political center. That's it. No one else believes that. You can't find me a non-diehard Israel supporter in the country that says, no, we owe them a genocide. We owe them an ethnic cleanse. We have to pay for it's our moral duty to pay for their genocide. You'd have to be a lunatic, a mainstream media reporter, or a congressman to believe that. All right, guys, we're going to see you on Tuesday, 6 o'clock Eastern. A lot more updates there. Love you. By the way, shoptyt.com for this shirt. But remember, 100% of the profits goes to Palestine Children's Relief Fund, a wonderful organization trying to help those Palestinian kids. Anyone, however you try to help the Palestinians, go do it. Even if it's just talk to your neighbor or whatever it might be, any little thing, right? Just to show that Americans are moral, decent people. We are not like our leaders. We fight for the victims of injustice. We try to end genocides. I'm super proud that we were among the people who ended the Holocaust and didn't let the Nazis get away with it. And now is incumbent on us to end, especially genocides that we're actually funding. Jesus. We have to end those, and we have to end the funding because we are decent, moral, loving people. All right, Base Hawaiian, thank you so much for the super chat. Tuesday, 6 o'clock, guys. I'll see you there.